Yes, I hear you. Of course, I. Okay, I am waiting for your sign off.
Hello guys, so here we are. Today we're gonna make a special stream with the Italian developer. He making ZX Spectrum games. So his name is Alessandro Grussu. So Alessandro, uh, sorry. Okay. Now here we are. So guys, welcome, Alessandro Grussu. He developed a new game for ZX Spectrum. Its name is ITALIA 1944. And today we're gonna talk about it. I think it will be interesting because I wanna. My point is to introduce this game for Russian community. So, I will talk in Russian now. Ребят, привет! Сегодня мы поговорим с итальянским разработчиком игр для ZX Spectrum. Его зовут Алессандро Груссу. Он разработал игру «Италия 1944». Вот, то есть 1944. Я думаю, нам будет интересно. Поэтому я задам пару вопросов и посмотрим, как это будет вам. So, let's start, please. Alessandro, tell us about yourself. Some words for introduction.
Hello.
Please introduce yourself and.
Hello, everyone. Hello, can you hear me? Okay. All right. Thank you. Спасибо. Добрый вечер. That's about half of the things I can say in Russian.
Okay.
Спасибо. Добрый вечер. Well, I'm so glad to be here. Unfortunately, I'm just able to barely speak some words in Russian, so I hope you will excuse me if I will express myself in English. But luckily, we have a very good interpreter, a very good translator here. Well, in fact, Sergey, the friend Sergey, who was so kind to translate game and manual and documentation to his own language, this is Russian, and to actually try the game and giving me some advice about it. and for this I am very grateful to him. It was a спасибо, спасибо.
One moment, please, Alessandro, I will translate. So, Alessandro сказал, что он очень рад, что ему предоставлена такая возможность пообщаться с русскими спектрумистами. И он очень благодарен, что я перевел игру на русский язык и сделал несколько пожеланий, которые он учел. So, you can continue, please.
Okay. Now, I would like to, take the chance to present this game and the label it will publish it under. That is to say, ZANKLE SOFT, which is a sort of brand I made for this specific release, and also to release new games and to release all games which will be then revised and in some cases revised and published under new versions, especially for this label. This is a digital distribution label, and it will be it's already been established on the itch.io website, but the new game, together with the first rare releases, will be made available towards the end of next week. That is to say, in about a week's time, everything will be ready for the release of ITALIA 1944, is to say ITALIA 1944, if you speak English, and together with the first two releases of some older games of mine with some enhancements, some modifications. That is to say, Lost in My Spectrum and Apulia 13.
One moment, please,
anyway.
Sorry, I must translate. Yes. Sorry.
Okay.
Алессандро сказал, что он разработал новую идею, да, и под новым брендом разрабатывает игры и предоставляет, точнее, планирует еще некоторые игры обновить под лейблом ZANKLE, да, и они будут доступны на сайте itch.io, собственно говоря. Ну, да, окей. So, you can continue, please.
Okay. This new game in particular is
sorry, one moment, please. Before
yes.
we will start discussing about the game, please tell something about yourself. I think it will be interesting for a Russian community, really, because I think it will be really. Please tell us about.
Okay. I was born almost 48 years ago in Messina, Italy, where I currently live, and I work as a teacher and I also made some historical researches with the university here. I held, in fact, a PhD in modern history. Although my researches mainly focused about contemporary history, and this is reflected in the very substance of the latest game, which is set into the Italian campaign of World War II. I teach history, philosophy, and social sciences, and this is the way this is my work, my professional activity, and in my spare time I like to program these games for my beloved old system, the ZX Spectrum, which I always had fond memories of since the first time that I experienced it when I was just 10 years old.
Please, let me please translate.
Okay. Sorry.
Итак, Александр сказал, что он работает учителем истории, собственно говоря, он живет в Италии, он преподает философию, социальную психологию, он специализируется на истории Второй мировой войны, и, собственно говоря, он помимо этого еще интересуется разработкой программ для ZX Spectrum. So please continue.
Okay. Okay, these are, I said, these are of course things that I make in my spare time just for my pleasure and just to, well, for others, other aficionados who also like to program and play Spectrum games. Of course, this also gave me the possibility, the chance of meeting people from other parts of the world, just like you, and some of them, like Javier Ortiz, I actually met in person when I went for a holiday in Spain 1 year and a half ago, just a while before this unfortunately business of the pandemic broke out. And well, it's again, it's something that I make in my as a pastime. It's quite like a hobby, so to speak. It's something that I do just for well, my pleasure, just for as a something to do something different and as a pastime, and to well, to entertain other people who, like me, grew up with the Spectrum.
Okay, let me translate. So, Алессандро говорит о том, что разработка игр для Spectrum это его хобби. И до того, как наступил локдаун, он был в Испании, встречался с разработчиками для Spectrum. И он делает, собственно говоря, то, что ему нравится, в первую очередь для своего удовольствия. То есть так же, как и я, поэтому как-то так. Okay, Alessandro, let me please ask you, which kind of games do you like?
Well, generally I like well, almost all kinds of games, well, from actions games to role-playing games or adventures, well, strategic simulations. Well, in fact, I made some very different games for the Spectrum myself, because I do not like to repeat myself. I always try to do something different because I like variety.
Okay.
But if I have to choose some category in particular, I would say strategy games and simulations and role play adventures, the kind of games where you have more to think about what are you doing, rather than just well, shooting everything that moves.
Okay, let me translate.
Although I also like shooting games, but my favorite genres are those where you mostly have to think and plan your moves.
Okay, I got it. Okay. So, я спросил, значит, какие наиболее интересные жанры для Алессандро, в чем он видит...
Sorry.
No worries, no worries. Какие наиболее интересные жанры игр ему интересны. Он сказал, в принципе, он ко всем играм питает интерес, но наиболее интересны те, в которых необходимо думать. То есть это какие-то ролл-плеинг, какие-то стратегии, либо адвентуры, то есть что-то типа того. Но в то же самое время и стрелялки тоже ему не безинтересны, но он предпочитает те моменты, где необходимо думать. Okay. So let's talk about the music. Yeah. As far as I know, you developed your game and you wrote the music by yourself. Is it correct?
Well, sometimes I did, for instance, in games like, for instance, in Seto Daisho, in Jumpit, I wrote some pieces of music by myself. While in other games, I adapted for the Spectrum, both beeper and AY chip, some existing pieces of music. For instance, classical music for Sophia 2, or folk music arrangements for Sophia, or well, for this this recent game, Italia 1944, I adapted for the Spectrum beeper the well-known Bella Ciao, which is sort of an official anthem of the Italian resistance, and another composition which will play during the final scenes of the game. But I'm not going to tell you this because it will spoil your fun. Although I think that not many people in your country actually know this melody.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's so. So let's talk about, please, compiler. Of course, I know that you're using ZX Basic, yeah, because we're
Yes.
using it together.
Yes, because
Yeah, but besides
Sure.
of it, please tell us which software you're using for developing games. I mean, maybe graphics, music, maybe, I don't know. Tell us about the software which you're using for making games. I think it would be interesting. So one moment, please. While you're
Okay.
thinking, I will translate in Russian because sometimes I forget to talk in Russian. So,
Okay.
я спросил
Okay.
Алессандро попросить рассказать о том, какие, собственно говоря, он использует программы или, ну, продукты для разработки под Spectrum. Например, для написания музыки или графики. Ну, компилятор, понятно, мы используем ZX Basic, но вот. So, please.
Okay. Well, I always list the program, the software I used to make my games into the game manuals, because all of my games are come with detailed instructions and explanation what gameplay for the user, and they always list the tools I used to make the game. In the case of Italia 1944, besides ZX Basic, I also used programs such as ZX Paintbrush for graphics.
Yeah, well known. Yeah.
Yes, and Bipolar for music.
Mm-hmm.
ZX0 for general data compression and graphic compression,
Mm-hmm.
which is excellent. Well, the new compression system by Einar Saukas, author of the excellent ZX7 that I always used in my previous projects, and ZX Block Editor, always by still by Klaus Jan, who was also the author of ZX Paintbrush, in order to put files together. Or also a screen compactor by Lethargic. I don't know his real name. I suppose it's Russian. Lethargic. Yes. I use this for the compression loading screens mainly.
Okay, let me translate.
Another Bipolar for music, or Vortex Tracker 2, the one by Sergei Bulba. For AY music. Vortex Tracker 2 by Sergei Bulba for AY music, for
unbelievable
AY chip music. While for beeper music, I use Bipolar by Chris Cowley.
Окей, so I will translate. Итак, Алессандро использует ZX Paintbrush для графики. Кроме того, использует Bipolar для создания музыки и, как оказалось, еще Vortex Tracker. Еще ряд компиляторов, ряд компрессоров для того, чтобы эти данные, ужать, да, и собрать. Вот. Окей. So let's go deeper. How you got your first Specky?
We have to make a distinction between my very first approach with the Spectrum and the first Spectrum that I actually got on my own. There was a space of about 6 months between the two events, because the first Spectrum I actually laid my hands on was a 16K ZX Spectrum, which was lent by a boy which lived upstairs in the building.
Sorry, Alessandro. How old are you? How old you were?
Maybe you missed that. I told that I was born 48, almost 48. Almost. I will be 48 next July.
No, I mean, how old you was when you got Specky first?
Okay. I was 10.
10.
And
10
then
years.
I was 10 at the first time that I
one moment, please. So, Александр говорит, первый раз, когда он получил Spectrum, он был 10 лет. Ему было 10 лет. So, please continue.
Well, I was 10 when I experienced the Spectrum for the first time, and I was almost 11 when I actually got my Spectrum on my own, because my dad gifted it to me when I was almost 11. It was a space of perhaps 6. Yes, it was 6 months between the two events, because when I was 10 and a half in the January of 1984, I was also living upstairs, the place where I was living with my family at the time, lent to my brother a Spectrum 16K to have a go at it, and we had this computer at home for about a week, and it was enough for me to get really interested in it, so that when I was promoted at school
Alessandro,
that year,
I'm missing only one point. Which kind of Spectrum it was? It was a Spectrum 48?
16K.
Okay, I got it. So, okay. The next question is, does Spectrum affect to your life? Maybe to your kind of life, I don't know, education or profession? What kind of part of in your life Spectrum takes?
All right. So I was just going to finish what I was saying before, because when I received my first Spectrum of my own, which lived with me, which accompanied me until 1993, when it sadly died due to a power failure. It was a 48K. It was the first Spectrum
Oops. Sorry, guys, we lost Alessandro.
Sorry. That wasn't coming from.
Okay.
Sorry.
Here we are.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry for a moment. Okay. Sorry. Wait a moment, please. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, all fine.
Okay. What were you asking me? Just excuse me for a while. Okay.
I
What were you
asked
asking me?
about which part of your life takes Spectrum, how it affects to your maybe profession or maybe your decision. I don't know. So your experience with Spectrum, which decision you take about it, what it changed in your life.
Okay. Sorry, just a while. Okay. Sorry, excuse me. I make excuse me. Sorry, there's something left. Well, it's a problem of streaming, you know.
No worries.
Okay.
Ребят, пока Alessandro, while you saying, I will talk with our.
Okay. I'm here.
Subscribers.
Okay.
Ребят, я спросил Алессандро, как повлиял Спектрум на его жизнь, что он изменил. So, first of all, guys, you're welcome to this chat. You can feel free to ask your questions, and I hope I will transfer your questions to Alessandro, and I hope he will kindly answer these questions. So feel free to talk. That's why we are here. Yeah, we wanna talk about new game. We're gonna talk about Alessandro and his ideas. So feel free. Type anything you want. So yeah, please.
Okay. Which kind of influence the Spectrum had upon my life? Well, on a professional level, I must say I can say very little, because lather I specialize in a field of study that is completely different from information technology. I learned to, it made a lot for my learning and understanding of English, that's for sure. and it also helping me to familiarize with computers, which was very important for me when computers became more familiar into people's homes around the 90s, around the half of the 90s here. So I was so up to the extent that I was able, and I am able to do that today, to assemble and build my own PCs at home and combining different parts. Yes. More of this interest in technology, and for instance, since I also studied and teach psychology about artificial intelligence and languages of programmation. All of this is somehow related to my experience with the Spectrum, but it is a sort of indirect, not direct influence.
I understood. Okay, let me just translate. Итак, я спросил Алессандро, как повлиял на него ZX Spectrum. Он сказал, что, во-первых, конечно, Spectrum ему позволил изучить английский язык. Кроме того, он ему позволил получить навык общения с компьютерами. Он научился работе с ассемблером, и даже сейчас он интересуется разработкой с использованием так называемого искусственного интеллекта. Well, it's really a surprise for me. So, okay, fine. The next question, please. Why did you decide to make a game for World War II? Why?
Okay. Sorry, just a moment.
Я спросил Алессандро, почему он решил разработать игру по поводу Второй мировой войны. Просто это интересно на самом деле. Почему такой выбор?
Well, all right. Italia 1944 is the fulfillment is something made real about two distinct ideas that have been circulating in my head since as early as 2013. That is to say, about 8 years ago. I had in my mind two plans. The first was to make a game towards one of the most important and arguably the most tragic period of history of Italy as a unified state. That is to say, the time of the war and the occupation, the German occupation and liberation war, which is a fundamental moment in the history of Italy, because it was from the victory of the partisan forces of the anti-fascist parties that it was originated our constitution. And the second desire was the second aim was to build completely icon-controlled game. A game that would be controlled exclusively through icons.
Without text, yeah? Without inputting text, yeah? So this was,
yes,
was your point.
Of course. These were the two aims that finally, after about 8 years, have been combining themselves into what is the game that I am going to release in the next few days.
Okay, so
if you want to translate it,
I'm reading chat, and so we have a greetings from UK, guys. You're welcome.
Okay, of course, greetings to everyone is listening, is following this transmission, because I'm always happy to meet people. It's the thing I like the most, to meet other people and have a good time together with them.
Yeah, and it's funny, but ZX Spectrum joined people from different countries with different ages, and I think this is perfect. And we have a question. So Claudio Pinero asking,
Yes.
did you ever intended to develop for other systems like MSX?
Oh, well, the problem is that I know Claudio is Brazilian, and the MSX was quite big in his country. It was not the same in Italy. Personally, back in the day, I knew many people who had Commodore 64, which was starting from the the 80s on, the main 8-bit platform in Italy. I knew people with a Spectrum, of course, someone with an Amstrad CPC 464, but no one with an MSX. Although there were some diffusion of this platform in Italy, there were even some tape magazines for it back in the day, but I am not experienced with. Unfortunately, my experience is just limited to the Spectrum as a level of programs writing, of programmation. So I don't think I would really be able to develop games for other platform, even based on the ZX80 on the Z80 processor, like the MSX or the Amstrad. I would need help from people who know this platform better than me. But I do not exclude it. Of course, again, I would need help from someone who knows this platform better than me.
Okay. So I started preview right now with a gameplay. It's translated in Russian. And maybe you can see in the stream.
As of now, I'm just yes, I'm seeing the first the beginning of the game.
Okay.
The difficulty.
Well, so now we can see what you're talking about. So your point was to make icon designed interface, yeah?
Yes, of course.
To make it without text, and I think it's more modern and much more easier to use, yeah? And it can attract games. By the way, guys, I'm talking too much in English. Sorry. Sorry, Alessandro. I will talk in Russian right now.
Okay. No worries.
Значит, I just forgot. Sorry, I was so inspired with. So, Алессандро разработал игру, построенную на управление с помощью иконочного интерфейса. Как вы знаете, то есть, это своего рода адвенчура. И управление осуществляется с помощью иконок, то есть без ввода текста в таком более современном виде. Я, например, адвенчурами вообще-то не особо увлекаюсь, особенно текстовыми, но эта игра меня реально зацепила. Вот, поэтому я и принял решение, собственно говоря, поучаствовать в переводе. Алессандро мне позволил принять участие, и я очень благодарен. So, Alessandro, we have a question. It's not a question, it's just a wish. So please don't stop programming for ZX Spectrum. It's very nice to know that there are passionate people who keep this dream alive. Thank you. Thanks to ZXBITLES.
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks. But of course, it's something that I do just for my for my pleasure and to entertain other aficionados just like me. I think I will continue to do this as long as I feel like doing it. Of course, like everything that you do for a pleasure, it's fun while it lasts. Of course, and of course, when you do everything for pleasure, you do it when you like to. So let's hope so.
Yeah. So this game consists of two parts. Yeah. In the first part, you must make some. You will describe. I just wanna introduce. Yeah. So the first part and the second part are very different. Yeah. And for me,
Yes.
the first part was much more easier than the second. So please tell about this first part and the second, why you decide to make like so, and please tell some details.
Okay, well, the game is divided into two different parts. So the first one is more similar to a role-playing game. Well, of course, the inspiration here were classic computer role-playing games, just like Bard's Tale, with the Nazis in place of monsters, of course. The historical background is reflected by several details. For instance, the fact that, the kind of mission you are supposed to achieve means that you should have had some sort of military training. So I decided to make the protagonist not a partisan, but a member of the Corpo Italiano di Liberazione, the Italian Liberation Corps, that is to say, the Italian officers and soldiers who, after the armistice of the 8th September 1943, decided to fight against the Germans for the liberation of Italy. Well, and historically, there were some contrasts with the partisans, because partisans were expression of political forces that had been against the fascist regime since the 1920s. That is to say, communists, socialists, liberals, Christian Democrats, all members of parties that have been outlawed by fascists since the 20s. And to the eyes of the partisans, the members of the Italian co-belligerent army, as it was known at the time, were the representatives of the old order, or the monarchy, of what had made fascism, what had made possible the rise of fascism in Italy. So they were often seen with suspect, with mistrust. And this is reflected in the way partisans, which play a very important role in the game, although the player does not control them, need you to show that you are fighting on their side, okay? That you are actually fighting for the same cause. This is reflected in the fact that you have to achieve in the first part level 5 before you can actually find them, and they will grant you their help into attacking and destroying the German garrison that is guarding the bridge that you have to cross in order to arrive the village, which is the first place we have to reach in order to finish the first part.
Alessandro, please wait a moment. I must translate in Russian at least something. Sorry.
Okay.
At least something. You talk too much, so please wait. Значит, в первой части протагонист высаживается. Это итальянское сопротивление. Он сбрасывается с самолета в локации, где расположен немецкий гарнизон. И, соответственно, его задача найти взрывчатку, которая вслед за ним была сброшена. После этого, в процессе, пока он ее ищет, он прокачивает скиллы. Он должен найти партизан. Партизаны ему непосредственно помогают для того, чтобы... после того, как он нашел взрывчатку, ему необходимо уничтожить зенитки. Потому что союзники... То есть зенитки препятствуют союзникам для работы, для операций в этой зоне. То есть он должен уничтожить зенитки, после этого он входит в контакт с партизанами, и партизаны помогают ему попасть в деревню. Собственно говоря, в деревне он находит штаб, где расположены немецкие войска. И тут начинается вторая часть игры. И она очень отличается от первой части игры. So, Alessandro, I just said that I explained what is the point of the first part of the game, yeah? And after entering to the village, we are starting the second part, yeah. And the second
Yes.
part, absolutely different for me. For me, it's absolutely different kind of gameplay. So
Well,
please,
yes,
please tell about
it's
it.
really, the whole game is really a bundle of two games, which are well connected by the fact that they are both controlled by icons. But while the first, well, is more similar to a role-playing game, and it has 3 levels of difficulty. The second part is more similar to, it's a graphic adventure, only controlled by icons instead of entering words and through a parser.
Alessandro?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. So, by the way, do you plan to release this game with in a physical version with cassettes, or I don't know, maybe with the discs? I don't know, with the cards.
Well, if there is, I do not exclude it. Of course, I think such things should be done only if there is a demand for them. There is too much. Well, I think there are too many. Well, I am the market. I say is going to be inflationated because I think well to be I'll make it a little more. I'll make it clearer. Well, if I am asked to do so, right, because in the last few 2-3 years, 2 years, well, I think there is too much offer from the market for fans or retro fans or physical editions, and I think such things should be done only if there is demand for them. Otherwise, people might get confused by the excess of offer. Of course, this is just my personal opinion. It does not mean to be authoritative at all. But well, if I receive enough positive feedback from people, from users, if I receive letters or emails or notes of people asking me, why the game is brilliant, I like it very much, why don't you publish a physical edition on cassette? Well, okay, all right, that's fine. Also because, and I would like to make this very clear, Italia 1944, Italia 1944 will be the very first game that I will make available for digital distribution through the ZANKLE SOFT label on itch.io for sale. That is to say, it will cost €3, which I think is a fair price for a game that's really 2 games bundled into one.
Yeah, sure.
Together with an illustrated manual. Now, if we could show some pages of the manual to our public.
I'm afraid it would be difficult.
So
Sorry,
everyone can see the care that I put into making this product. So first step will be digital distribution through the itch.io platform, and if there is enough popular demand for it, then I will contact some. I will see if there is some interest there for physical distribution on cassette.
Okay, let me translate. Я спросил Алессандро, планирует ли он выпускать на кассетах свою игру. Он сказал, что в первую очередь он сфокусирован на цифровом выпуске, да, то есть с помощью itch.io. By the way, the link in description. You can find the link in description. I put it there. And Alessandro promised me that he will finish soon the design for the page, yeah? On itch.io. Yeah, Alessandro?
Yes, yes, yes.
Скоро дизайн страницы будет закончен, и там будут опубликованы, собственно говоря, игры. И за 3 евро там можно скачать. Если кому-то будет интересно, каким-то коллекционерам выпуск на кассетах, то тогда Алессандро, возможно, рассмотрит такой вариант. И, то есть, ну, что называется, on demand, то есть по требованию. Если кому-то будет интересно, тогда будет это сделано. So, by the way, Alessandro, I know that besides of this game, you made a lot of other games, but right now I wanna ask you about the magazine which you released. Yeah.
Sorry. Could you ask it again? Sorry, excuse me. Which magazine?
Magazine, I mean journal, or how to say?
Yes, magazine. Which kind of magazine? Sorry, could you please tell it again? Could you please ask it again?
Yeah. So I mean your overview which you made about the Spectrum games for this year, and you represented with a magazine with a PDF file which you made. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry, I could you tell it another way? I don't understand. But excuse me, but I think I don't understand which magazine are you referring to.
I mean annual. You made annual.
The annual.
Yes.
The annual. Okay.
Magazine. It's
Alpha Spectrum Annual. Yes, this is a side project of mine.
Yeah,
this is another thing that I for in the last 2 years I programmed the annual, and I edited this annual by myself, which came through 3 languages: Italian, English, and Spanish.
Yeah.
And it is a way of telling people which my personal best of Spectrum games of each year is. Together with other articles, like for instance, in last issue we had an interview with Jose Rodriguez, that is to say Boriel, the creator of ZX Spectrum, as you also know, of course. And and an article about my experience with the Spectrum Next, with photos and text that I personally took and described my experience with that new machine, and explanation about my past releases, Funky Fungus Reloaded and Ad Lunam Plus, and anticipation about my other project. For instance, I think within this the month of May we will see the physical releases on cassette of Sophia and Sophia 2. That I've been asking. I have been asked about this, about the releases, physical releases of this game for a long time. Okay. Finally, hopefully, within the end of this month, both games will be available on cassette for Bitmap Soft. Okay. From Bitmap Soft, yes.
Okay. So, of course, I just want to say for maybe those guys who don't know about your releases, Alessandro made really a lot of games. And from my point of view, most of games are really cool, really cool. I highly recommend to check them. And please wait when Alessandro will finish with the website on itch.io, and check it really. I'm sure you will be surprised. And so my next question is, what about your plan for the future? Which kind of games do you plan to make? Maybe some, I don't know, what do you think about what are your next plans?
Like I said in previous occasions, my year after the release of Italia 1944, I am also planning to release new versions of my earlier games. As as for completely new games, I have been thinking since a long time to the third and final chapter of Sophia's saga. Sophia has been so far one of the better received characters from my games. She is she was very well received into both games, but the first was mainly arcade. The second contained some elements of adventure. And the third will be completely different from the first and the second part, because it will be mainly focused on adventure and role playing. It will be a game where I'm thinking about the setting and thinking about the gameplay, and it will be more like a role-playing game and an adventure, rather with little arcade tones. Actually, I don't think I'm going to make arcade action titles anymore. There is just there are so many people around making such kind of games. And some of them really, really good, really superb. And I am the first to say it. And I wish I would like to walk down a different path. To walk down a different path. That is to say, to do something different, or as I always try to do, something particular, something different, something that when you look at it, you may say, this is a game by Alessandro. Okay, fine. You may like it, you may not like it, but anyway, you recognize it. That's what I think.
Okay. So we can expect some surprises from you. This is good. This is good and perfect. So we're online about 1 hour. Maybe you can tell something else besides of my questions. Maybe you can tell. Yeah.
Well, I think there are some questions from our listeners, our esteemed public. There are some questions. I don't know if I was now watching for instance, Andres, I think, asked me about a game called La misteriosa fiamma della regina Loana. I must say that I do not know this game. I think I believe it's the first time that I actually hear about it. So I'm sorry, Andre. Desculpe, Andre, pero no conheço. Sorry, Andre, but I do not know it.
Maybe we're looking to different things, but anyway, so let us please resume and please tell when you will release this game. Can you name a date?
Sorry, just
yeah, guys.
Sorry. Excuse me, but okay.
Alessandro made a manual.
What they're saying? Sorry. What were you just saying? What were you?
I asked what is the date when it will be released officially.
Okay.
Can you name date, or if you're ready?
It should be made available for towards the end of next week. That is to say, around half May. I have to check another couple of things with the files, ensure that everything is okay. Of course, customers will have the right to support as long as the game will be available. Yes, I will try to support it if there be, but it's unlikely because the game has been thoroughly tested. but in the rare event that a bug or some mistake in the translations arises, I will be more than happy to correct it and to to receive any. As I always did before, I'm very open to player feedback. Those who have followed me in the last few years know this. So I hope to have everything. I think the game is in fact complete. I'm just ensuring that everything works as it should.
Mm-hmm. By the way, guys, I must say that Alessandro made really great work about manual. It's not just a README file. It's rich with graphics, with design, and it has spirit with some kind of secret documents, if you understand. Yeah, you must see it. So Alessandro, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for being with us and for your game. I made as much as I can. I'm sorry, I'm just a small little guy with maybe not rich subscribers, but I hope this will help your promote your games. And guys, please subscribe and please visit the links below in description. There is a link to itch.io website with the games from Alessandro. And
yes, yes. Sorry, excuse me. I must say that of course the page is still under
under construction. Under
under
construction,
construction, of
but
course.
it
So
will be soon available, I
as
hope.
of now, there is just right now there is still no software available for download from there, but it will be available within this week. As I said, the time Lost in Spectrum and Apulia 13 are ready for distribution, because I already made a revised edition of both games. And of course, they are all games. For instance, Lost in Spectrum is a Manic Miner clone, the kind of games that I made 10 years ago. Of course, today there are many people making games of this kind, so probably I would not make such a game nowadays. But anyway, I like to make it available to the public, because it was a general test of game making with AGD at the time, and so far it has been well received. So I still like people, if they want, of course, if they wish to do so, to play with it. Same goes for Apulia 13.
Okay. So I think we can finish on this point, and hope to hear you soon with your next titles. And you can be sure that if I can help you, I will help you anyway. Every time, anyway, everywhere. When you will need it, just call.
Thank you so much. You've done an excellent job not because you are here, of course. This is not adulation, but I must recognize you did a very good job into helping me with the game, not only with the translation into Russian, which of course I could not do it myself like I did for Spanish, English, and German, and up to some extent, the game will be available, as of now, is available in English, Italian, English, German, Spanish, and Russian. And a Portuguese version is in the works. I hope to have it ready for next Saturday, in time for the game's release, because there are a lot of Portuguese fans, Spectrum fans, and in the past few years, I've translated games into their language, although I do not really know it that well. So I had to look for help for Portuguese translations, and the games got a lot of text in both manual and the game proper. So I'm trying to have help from for this task as well. But anyway, I hope to have the game ready into Portuguese as well.
Okay, so Alessandro, I think I failed my task because the point was to talk basically in Russian, but I was so inspired talking with you. So let me please say at least few words in Russian at the end. Итак, игра будет закончена в конце этой недели. Она будет выпущена на немецком, итальянском, испанском и русском языках. Поэтому, господа, если кому-то интересно, ссылочка в описании. The link in description. Please follow it. And I think you will enjoy it. So, Alessandro, thanks a lot for being with us. And I hope to see you soon. Bye.
Okay. Thanks to you. Спасибо.
Пока. Okay.
And thanks to everyone who was here with us. Thank you for sharing their time with us. I hope they had fun and it was interesting enough for them, for all of them.